Today is an advice video. I want to give you advice on what not to do in college. Maybe you're in high school and you haven't started college yet, but I've made some pretty bad decisions in my life, and I want to share with you the decisions that I made so you don't make the same ones. But before we begin today, I'd like to thank our sponsor over at Best Fiends. Today we're going to be taking a look at Best Fiends Forever, the third game in the Best Fiends trilogy. It's an addictive little adventure clicker game, and if you like to smash your screen and kill slugs, this may be the game for you, because when I was a young little boy, I used to actually kill physical slugs, and now I can do it without actually harming anything. As you can see here, you slap, collect, and level up pretty much everything in the entire game. If you like games where you can level things up constantly, this will be just for you. It's a very simple concept, but one that keeps bringing you back to play more. But what's best of all is, in fact, that the game is free to download. If you'd like to check out the game Best Fiends Forever, it is linked down below in the description along with all of my other links. But let's talk about college. I don't know how old you, the viewer, are watching me right now, but I started college when I was actually 16 because I went into a program called Running Start, which I shouldn't have done because I was not mentally and emotionally ready to go into college at age 16. It just wasn't the time of my life that I should have done that. My parents kind of didn't want me to do it, but I went into college through this program Running Start because I had one of the number one things my advice is not to do, is have a college relationship or have a relationship in general when you go into college, or make a relationship happen when you are in college, considering, of course, how serious you are about school. If you really don't care about your education, you want to screw it over by tainting yourself with a relationship, by all means, you go right ahead. And I'm not saying here I'm against people being in relationships in college. I'm simply making the point that if you have a breakup, which happened to me, and this was a horrible experience when I was 18, one of my biggest math classes that I needed to pass, I was doing exceptionally well. Well, it just so happens that I had a breakup on the exact same day, that early morning at the college itself. And not only was I emotionally distraught, I was extremely upset, I was extremely hurt because a 2-year relationship ended. I couldn't focus, I couldn't do my studies, and I got an F on my math exam. And I can honestly say that I got that F because of my relationship, because my relationship had such an emotional and mental effect on me. Relationships take a lot out of a person. Unless you have strong mental gymnastics, or allows you to cut off your emotions completely while you're in college, while you're seeing someone, while you're in love with falling in love with them, it's best to prioritize your schooling and your studies first rather than a woman or a man. A woman or a man should never come over your career choices, much less the decisions in your life that are going to make you successful and make you have a long, successful career. I was stupid, and I did that. My grades, my GPA suffered because of a woman, because I let her influence my decisions, my life, but most of all, my emotions and my priorities. It was my fault, my responsibility, and I don't want you to go through the unfortunate experience of going through a breakup when you're in college. Especially if it's a serious one, it's going to be even more difficult for you. Number 2, another life advice, is don't worry about parental expectation. We as high schoolers, we even as young adults, some of our family usually has very high standards for us. They want us to become a successful businessman, a mathematician, a chemical biologist. The list can go on whatever your parents have expectations for you to achieve. Maybe your dad or mom wants you to go into a specific career that you don't actually want to go in. And I'm telling you here today that you do not have to go down the career that your parents expect you to do. Parents who do this, I think, are setting up their kids to fail, especially if you're not giving that kid free reign and choice to expand their abilities to want to pursue something different than what dad or mom wants you to pursue. When parents do this to children, it creates a very high expectation that they have to do this thing or else their parents are not going to be happy with them. And in many cases, that may actually be true. So therefore, it puts an unrealistic expectation on the teen, the adult, to do something, to put their money into something that they're not ready for, that they really don't have a passion for, thus creating the parental expectation. If you're 18 years old, you are in control of your own life and career and where you want to pursue. Do not let the influence of your parents, unless it's something that you genuinely want to do, dictate your future. Number 3 is money. Try to avoid going into debt, if at all that's even possible. I'm still paying off a very little bit of debt. For the most part, I did, in fact, my first 2 years of college. I took another year just last year, so I wanted to explore some different types of career fields, which ultimately ended up not being something that I was even interested in. But I got to learn things about those career fields that I wouldn't have otherwise known about. But if you can avoid debt, do everything you possibly can to avoid it. If you have to work a 9 to 5 job twice a week just to be able to pay for books, do it. I can't give you any stronger advice than this. Please do not max out your credit card and get thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars in debt. If you have to get a job and work your ass off and go to school at the same time, as though it's very difficult to do, I encourage you to do it. Because that's what I did. I worked as a custodian and a janitor at a church, cleaning bathrooms for a living. And here's another thing. You have a job and you're trying to pay for your own school. Do not let someone shame you into making you feel bad that you work at McDonald's making $5 an hour. A job, no matter what it is, no matter how horrible it is, no matter how bad it is, and believe me, clean female restrooms was pretty scummy. You're not any less of a person for working that job, despite how terrible it may be. You do what you have to do to save money to pay for your shit so you don't have to go in debt. Because from one person to another, I can tell you that being in debt is a horrible, horrible, horrible feeling. And it's always like this heavy rain cloud over the top of your head. It's always pushing you down because it's like, oh, I made this amount of money. Well, guess what? My entire paycheck is going to pay for this debt, or else it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse and stack up and get worse. And over time, you'll owe hundreds upon thousands of dollars. Work your ass off, and there's no shame at working where you have to work. I've noticed that's a really big millennial thing nowadays, as I see a lot of millennials who make fun and joke at other people working at McDonald's, working at the Goodwill, working at a job making minimum wage. Ha ha ha, why would you work at that job? That's terrible. Those people who do that have such a high ego that they don't know what it's like to work a goddamn day in their life. Ignore those people. Throw those people out of your life. So they're not worth having an influence on you. And my final piece of advice is it is okay for you being 20, 18, 24 to not know what you want to do for a future career. And this is the biggest one. Explore different career choices. I've already done that. I wanted to become a cop at one point. I pulled out of that. I wanted to be a network administrator working with cybersecurity. I dabbled in that and pulled out of it because it wasn't something that I actually wanted to do. And now I'm learning trade schooling. I'm learning hands-on stuff, which already I love a lot more than anything because I'm best with my hands. But I'm almost 25 and I think I know what I want to do, but I'm not 100% sure yet. And that is 100% okay. You don't have to rush into career choices that you don't even know that you want to try. You don't have to set yourself at 21 that I'm going to be a X-ray technician. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, where maybe you can explore that area, see if it's a field that you really like. If you're setting yourself up to fail, if you're mentally rushing yourself saying that I gotta find a career, I gotta find a career, I gotta find a career. My dad didn't get his degree in software engineering at Boeing until he was almost 30 years old. He started college at like 26 and ended at age 30 with his degree. There's so much expectation on younger teens and young adults to have a career choice, thought out by 21, and this is just wrong to me. If you have a career choice set out, there's nothing wrong with that. The pressures that parents, the pressures that people and the society does towards us, saying that we have to rush and get everything out of the way at ASAP is just simply wrong in my opinion. And I wanted to share with you those pieces of advice so that maybe in the future it can help you to not make the same decisions that I've done. Because every piece of advice that I've given you here today is things that I did do. That's why I'm telling you that. I'm not telling you because I want to be some life guru or anything like that. I'm telling you because I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made and ultimately will cost you in the long run. And I don't want that to happen to any one of my subscribers. So with that said, thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Monday. My video tomorrow is going to be on Ray Comfort. And all of my social links are linked down below in the description, including my Discord. Have a good rest of your day.